Apollo 13, that crew traveled 248,655 miles from Earth. The distance record will continue to be broken, and we'll get official final numbers once they do make that furthest point passing by. As you can see, the moon is growing larger for the cameras that are on the outside of Orion, and of course for the crew inside the spacecraft. For a sense of what this is like for the Artemis II astronauts that are preparing to make the important lunar observations here in the hours to come, if you imagine holding a standard basketball in the palm of your hand and then extend your arm to its furthest point away from your body, that's about what the moon will look like for the Artemis II crew. The crew is set to make their closest approach to the lunar surface, which is about on the order of 4,000 statute miles. That's set to happen at about 7:02 p.m. Eastern, 23:02 UTC for those joining around the world. Speaking of joining around the world, we want to thank the more than 7,100 of you who are watching along with us live today. We certainly appreciate your time and attention. It's been quite an honor and a privilege to be covering this piece of history for you all. Certainly a team effort to make this coverage happen, and we appreciate your being here with us as part of documenting history. The opening of the show was a bit busy, so just to get the table setters out of the way, if you haven't already, you could do us a big favor just by clicking the like button here and sharing this stream. That will allow some more folks to find their way to this live lunar flyby coverage. I also want to extend a big thank you to our team back in Florida who's supporting us on a technological front here to make this live stream possible. So a big thanks to our Spaceflight Now editor, Stephen Young, alongside our extraordinary photographers, Adam Bernstein and John Bassani, hopping in various capabilities to make sure that we've got good, robust coverage for you today. As we did earlier in the show, we will do our level best to not step on the Orion to Earth communications. We, along with you, dear viewer, want to make sure that we are hearing what's being communicated to the crew as well as everything else that is happening with this mission and the flyby. We'll be bouncing back and forth as the views look the most interesting between the real onboard cameras on the Orion spacecraft as well as within the Orion vehicle and computer representations of the flyby, as you can see with this visualization that was created by NASA to give you a crisper view that gives you a little bit of a third-person perspective of the orientation of Orion, both the European service module, which you can see that's the part with the main large engine nozzle, as well as the supporting smaller engines. That is the cylindrical piece of Orion, and then there's the stage adapter in between the service module and the crew module up top, and you can just barely make out a little bit of the top of the crew module here in the visualization if you look near them. From this orientation, what I'll just call the bottom of the full Orion spacecraft from this perspective. Back here in Mission Control Center, Houston, this is the White Flight Control Room, or the White Figure, where we're looking at the CATCOMs for today. This is the station that primarily is in charge with communicating with the crew members on board the Orion spacecraft. Now, the team goes through a rotation series with all of the positions in the control room here. That's in order to make sure that everybody who is on console is fully rested and ready to support all the various needs and impacts to the mission in all the various capabilities. If you look at the right side of the screen, actually before we pivot away from the position where we're currently in here, of course, we're on Monday, April 6th, the two Capcoms that are currently in that position. They're not always going to be astronauts, but in this case, they happen to be for this particular, what are called orbits. You can think of them as first, second, and third shift. But for orbit number 1 today, we have on the left-hand side in the blue shirt and the red tie, that is NASA astronaut Stan Love. And to his left, our right, in the charcoal gray jacket, that is Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jenny Gibbons. Gibbons trained to be one of the two backup astronauts for the Artemis 2 mission, alongside NASA astronaut Andre Douglas. As the day goes on, we see a crew shift here in the white vicar. Again, we're currently in what is referred to as orbit 1, taking over in orbit 2, which will be sort of the middle of the day for the Artemis 2 crew from their perspective. We'll see Tess Caswell take over, who is the lead Capcom for the Artemis 2 mission, alongside the aforementioned Andre Douglas. To the right, the gentleman in the, so people may quibble with my color description, I'm going to call that maroon shirt. Taking a bite of lunch as we're currently at 1:19 p.m. here Central Time. If I wasn't on the mic, I'd be doing the same, taking a bite of the cold wrap that is sitting in the fridge beside me. Hopefully I'll take a moment to steal away and grab a little lunch myself. But that is Jeff Radkin, one of the flight directors who is supporting the Artemis 2 mission.